Good morning, good evening, good night, wherever you are out there. Thank you for coming back to another episode of the Sloth and Money radio podcast, live and uncut. It is more or less going to be an hour-long inside joke and bullshittery again today because we have no format, no formula. We have nothing prepared for the show. And here's the man of the hour himself, Mike Money.
Hi, yes, it's me, Mike Money. I'm back again. We're back again. Me and Sloth. We're doing it live. Guess what? There's no itinerary because there's never itinerary. You see, you're listening to the S&M Radio podcast. Officially on iTunes. We've done it. We've overcome the naysayers. We've stomped everyone that tried to hold us down right on their hands and tried to pull us down into the grave of podcast damnation. But we're here, and we're on iTunes, and we are so fucking thrilled about it. How do you feel about it, Sloth?
I feel pretty good that our detractors, doubters, and haters are now sitting in an angry chair. We are sitting amongst the top of the mountain, and by that I mean we have one show on iTunes.
Yes, that's fucking right. We've got one show on iTunes, and this might be the last one ever, but we can put it on our gravestones. Here lies Sloth and Money, buried together like gay fucks, and they had 2 podcasts on iTunes. Ladies and gentlemen, we can now say that we've done it. We've climbed the mountain. The view from up top is glorious. I love it. I'm so excited. Happy belated Thanksgiving to everyone who celebrates it.
Yeah, I was going to say people in, like Bali don't celebrate Thanksgiving.
And that's where they fucked up.
Yeah. All right, so on today's agenda, let's see. We have all of the brand new happenings for the Sloth and Money YouTube, the spin-offs on other YouTubes that'll be starting, our adventures from the last time that we recorded a show and went out afterwards.
Let's plug the YouTube because it's...
Yeah, go ahead and plug the YouTube.
It's youtube.com/MikeMoney2. But now it's just been
well, it comes up as Sloth and Money.
Does it?
So, yeah.
Get out.
Yeah, it's youtube.com/Sloth and Money.
I think it's both. Because if you go to the V2, are we talking about our actual one?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess we have 2 then.
Okay.
Officially. Because we have my old one that had a whole bunch of stuff up there. But the other one, which is...
youtube.com/Sloth and Money.
Which I didn't know works together, but that's cool.
It does, yes.
Sweet. So we have those 2. And we also have a Twitter.
Which, as of right now, has 121 subscribers and almost 600,000 views total for the entirety of the catalog of that YouTube account.
That's right. And our Twitter, which I have no idea what it is, actually.
I think it's Sloth and Money.
No, it's not. That's the Facebook, which I never use. But the Twitter, if you go on the YouTube, it will take you to the Twitter.
Which we never use. We should probably fix that soon.
We should.
Okay. Well, somebody's going to be checking their phone and making blue
I'm not
tweets.
checking for our Twitter. What are you talking about?
Since he's underprepared for this, I can go ahead and talk about the spin-off YouTube account. Recently, we got confirmation from the owner of Jersey's Cards and Comics, Hampton. They also have stores in Yorktown and Gloucester, that we can record Friday Night Magic matches, which will be featured on the YouTube. We have to edit them, obviously, for language, so you will get color commentary and descriptions of how to make you a Magic player on the fly while watching the games. And you can find that, I'm assuming it'll be like youtube.com/Team Snapkeep, something like that.
I'm really excited about that. That's like an awesome partnership that I never thought would happen. That's a really cool store, and the people that go there are very down to earth. I'm very thrilled that they would even think about letting us do that.
Yeah, exactly. I'm very glad that he decided that he was okay with it, but once again, we still have to put in heavy work on our end to make sure everything goes off well.
Without a hitch.
Well, there'll be hitches, because right now I'm really far behind.
It's us. There's always hitches. Speaking of hitches and not being far behind, we're catching up right now. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. If you have Twitter, if you're in the world of Twitter, you can go to twitter.com. Twitter.com. For real. Twitter.com/Sloth and Money. And you will pull up our Twitter, of which we have 2 followers, I think, or something like that, because we never do it. In fact, we had more followers, but they pulled the bait and switch on us. When we would follow them back, they would unfollow us. Who takes the time to do that?
Salty individuals.
Very salty.
All right. Speaking of salty, how did you enjoy your Thanksgiving?
Thanksgiving was so amazing, because I can't even describe things that happened on Thanksgiving. But I did eat a lot of food, and I was thoroughly let down by the proceedings of eating that food later that night. Ladies and gentlemen, if you live in the United States or if you celebrate this other parts of the world.
This glorious Bendiverse occasion.
Oh my god. And I'm not talking about Thanksgiving. I'm talking about the hatred, the vitriolic rage and aggression of civilians running to and fro to buy things cheaper than they normally are. Black Friday. If you celebrate Black Friday, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I worked in retail for like 6 years, and I worked 5 Black Fridays, and every year I wanted to quit. Every time. And ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you, the final one that came around, I quit before it happened, the week before, because I couldn't do it. I just couldn't take it anymore. I went out on this year's Black Friday in search of one thing. I wanted a 50-inch TV. That's all I wanted. That's it. I went to no place earlier than they were selling it. People were probably camping out. Didn't you? You had an experience with the TV too. How'd it go?
Tell your story first.
Well, my story ends in tears because I went to the Target, which you said had the line wrapped around the corner. I didn't go to that Target. I went to another Target 20 minutes away, and I got there, and the guy was handing out maps of the store. Like, it's fucking difficult to find your way around Target like it's an airport terminal. I was like, what's this? He's like, it's a map of the store. I was like, do you have any of the 50-inch TVs left? I see people walking out with them in carts, smiling, and their families together, all holding hands and caroling. I'm like, do you have any more of those? He's like, oh, we handed out vouchers for those. So do you have any more? Oh, no, those are gone. I quietly turned around and left. I took the map of the store and threw it out. Then I went back to my car, and I said, fine, I'll go to a Walmart. I went to another Walmart 15 minutes away. They didn't have it. Okay, fine. I went to another Walmart 20 minutes away. They didn't have it. So, ladies and gentlemen, I trekked over an hour's worth to find a 50-inch TV, and I ended up coming home with nothing.
Empty-handed.
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Tears.
All right, well, my story is, I don't know, it's all right. It ends happily for my family, not so much for me or Mr. Money here. I waited in line at the Target in Hampton, Virginia for an hour and a half because I was like, well, they have some really good deals on Nerf guns and headphones. What was they had some video game stations and video games. Anyway, so I wait there for a while, and I actually catch up with an old member that I was old person that graduated from my class, 2007 at my high school. We talked for a little bit, and we got in, and apparently the person that was 5 people ahead of me had a voucher because they were waiting in line earlier that day, and decided to move back towards the people that they knew because they had gotten there later. And more or less the person that was 5 people ahead of me got the last 50-inch TV from Target. I went to go wait in line for Mr. Money because he was going to show up late, so if I could have gotten that TV for him for his Christmas time celebration, I know that would have made his year. Don't do that, please.
Sorry.
So that was more or less a failure. I more or less just roamed around the store for a little bit and found absolutely nothing.
So the voucher situation, because please, as one of my favorite podcasters in the history of podcast world would explain and say, please to explain. That's my R.D. Reynolds from Russell Crab Radio. How do the vouchers work?
You get there early, and you wait, and you get a voucher to say that you waited in line, and then you go get the TV with the voucher.
So you can just come and get a voucher at like 12 p.m., then go home and come back with the voucher?
Well, I mean, I think you have to wait. I think they only hand them out like an hour before they open or something.
I wish I knew that.
Yeah.
I want to cry. But I won't cry. I will just cuddle up with my 32-inch TV and be happy with that until I find another one.
But the story gets better. I decided to, my fiance and her mother were at the Office Depot, so I walked over there because it's not too far away. And I bought a 32 gig SD card for $17. And we can now record a lot of things on our camera with that. I need a larger battery, though. And that was more or less the end of the night. Next day, I found out that my parents are going to be given a 61-inch TV for free. It is a older TV. It is a rear projection screen, but I do not care.
My face when I read that text message, because it was bittersweet. I was so happy that you guys were going to get it, and I knew that you'd be able to make great use of it and enjoy it, but I just looked at the text message, and I had the phone in my hands, and it was like...
Well, if this said, Mike, we have an extra 41-inch TV that we're just going to put on the curb if you want it.
Oh, I don't know, but reading that, it's not that there's anything wrong with a 41-inch, but what you know.
But it's a
me.
projection screen. You need HD so you can see it.
Well, that's true. But you know me. Once I get something in my mind, I've got to do it or buy it or get it somehow. I have this obsessive need to just get everything I desire. And most things in life that I've desired, I've gotten. I'm not naming names, but I'm now engaged to someone I obsessed with. And then there's other things like getting a new car, and I've gotten a new car, and now I need this 50-inch TV. Notwithstanding a college degree and professional wrestling, we'll get to that eventually, hopefully. But I need this 50-inch TV.
You need it.
Yes.
Okay. But once again, we do have that 40. It might be bigger than that, but it's also a projection TV. If you want it, because if not, we're just going to toss it.
Don't toss it. At least Craigslist it or something.
I'm not doing that because people, the last couple times I've been posting on Craigslist, I've been lowballed by someone named lowballyou@gmail.com.
No, this guy's still hitting around. This guy's been running rampant, let me tell you. My God, this guy. I've seen him fucking lowballing people left and right on
Yeah, exactly. I wonder who it could be.
It ain't me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's one of our favorite pastimes now because I've actually been doing it. Lowballing people on Craigslist. They're like, brand new dining room and sofa set, $390. How about you work with me here? 72.
Yeah,
$72.
Or best offer, $50. How about that? This guy was selling a 50-inch a couple weeks ago, way before Black Friday, for like $300 something, maybe $2 something. I don't remember. I lowballed the shit out of him. I was like, I'll give you $100 for it. Never wrote me back, but I smiled.
Well, that's like as I was leaving, it was a madhouse too, escaping that garbage because I was trying to walk through the line to just get out, and the lady was like, "You gotta wait in line," and I was like, "No, I'm just leaving. I'm not getting anything." But you need to wait. No, I'm leaving. I'm not buying anything. I'm free to leave. I'm not stealing anything. I am exiting your facility. And on the way out, this guy was like, "Hey yo, girl, I give you $400 for that 50-inch TV, huh? Hey yo, go." I was like, put it on Craigslist like 2 days before Christmas for $600. You'll be fine.
I know. Man, my Black Friday experience was bittersweet, but I gotta say, getting around from place to place was so easy because there's like no traffic. Everyone was either lined up in stores or in the lines at the stores, and I drove from all these places with like no hassle. Once I got in the stores, I was able to move around freely. I wasn't being hassled by people. So, I mean, I guess getting around on Black Friday was easier than I expected, but actually reaping the rewards of getting what I wanted on this day did not happen. And unfortunately, this past weekend, Paul Walker died.
Really? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't want to talk about that. I mean, if you want me to talk about it, I'll talk about it.
I know you might not say or agree with everything that I will, but I have to bring it up because it ties into something that just happened to me.
Okay, go ahead.
So, I mean, Paul Walker, people are going to say he's not the best actor and this and that. I don't really care about that. I mean, it's a human being that died. As much as we talk about how cynical we are and how we're borderline sociopaths, which to a degree, there's some truth to these statements. But anytime, I mean, of course, people die every day and no one gets the publicity about it. But when a celebrity dies, it's obviously all over the news. But I like those movies. The first DVD I ever owned in 2001 was The Fast and the Furious. I bought it and I played it on my PS2. And I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. It had like a whole bunch of alternate scenes and viewing angles and stuff. I'm like, this is state-of-the-art technology in 2001 on DVD with alternate angles and endings. So yeah, that was sentimental to me. But the way in which he died was like just unfortunate. He was, I guess, coming from or going to the charity event, and his friend, who was I don't want to say it was ironic, but who was a professional race car driver, crashed a $400,000 car into, I guess, a telephone pole, and the car split in half and exploded. Yeah. I mean, it sounds ridiculous. It does. It sounds like it was a movie scene from Fast and the Furious. So people are obviously going to talk about how he died and how ironic it was because of the tie-in and whatnot. But I don't care about all that. It's unfortunate that he died, of course. But what I'm saying is that that really hit me. I don't know why it did, but it really bothered me. Also, we know a person named Paul Walker. I don't know if you know him, but he was in our grade. And
yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, I'm friends with him and all. And that was kind of creepy, I'm sure, for him to be named that. And now he's got to deal with that for a long time. But I guess the next day, a train in Brooklyn, I believe, went off the tracks, and I think at least last I saw, 4 people were killed and a whole bunch injured. The train was coming into a sharp curve that was supposed to be going into the curve at about a 30-mile-per-hour speed, and it was coming at 80 miles per hour. I don't know if it was the brakes or the conductor or whatever it was, but for some reason, that train went off the tracks. And 4 people were killed and a whole bunch more were injured. So that obviously hit with me too, because I've taken trains before around New Jersey and New York, and it's scary. So yesterday, after working a 9-day-long stint at 10 to 12-hour shifts at the warehouse and only having 1 day off in between because of my own personal choice, because I wanted to make some money for the holidays and for fun, I was coming home finally after ending this 9-day event, and over in Williamsburg, there's like a lot of weird, like, you know, town streets and 25-mile-per-hour streets and stuff like that. And there's this one road that I take to get onto the interstate, and it's got railroad crossing. So I was going across the railroad crossing, listening to my podcast of MLW.com. Great podcast, if you love wrestling like I do. And I was going across the tracks, and I got across the first set of tracks, and then I heard ding, 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 ding. Oh, no. I was so freaking scared because I just seen the footage of the train at lunch they showed some footage of another train that just barreled off the tracks and just exploded. And then all I could think about all weekend was the incident with Paul Walker. So here I am thinking, great, this train's gonna kill me and I'm gonna be in my car. I was thinking everything happens in threes. There was the Paul Walker incident, there was the actual train incident, and now I'm gonna die too. So I got across the tracks, and I was just prepared for the thing to come across and stop, and I couldn't get off. And just in time, I got across the tracks before the safety divider could come down. As I was going over the tracks, I looked down the path and saw a train barreling towards me and pictured my life ending like that. What a bitter ending it would have been to my shitty life thus far, to be killed by a train on these tracks in this stupid car. So, I survived.
Well, that's truly fortunate that you didn't die. I'll give you my views on the Paul Walker incident. This is a example of natural selection working in live. Yeah, you know, it's a tragedy that no, it's not a tragedy. He was in a car with a friend who was a race car driver who was speeding down a street, who hit a tree and killed his friend. Yeah, that's a real tragedy. No, that's just, once again, that's natural selection. He won the Darwin Award this year. Let's give him a round of applause, guys. You're an imbecile, and now you're dead. How do you feel? Oh, you feel dead.
I believe the guy's name that was the driver was Roger Rodas, and he was a professional race car driver, and he had owned that vehicle and other vehicles similar like it, and it just didn't work out that well.
I mean, yeah, you know what? It sucks. It sucks that he's dead because we actually lost a pretty okay actor. But what if they didn't hit a tree? What if they would have hit a child?
Well, that could have happened.
I'm just putting it out there.
They could have also
would that have been a tragedy? No one would have cared because a celebrity didn't die.
They could have also crashed into a giant pillow factory.
That would have been great.
But
why not a custard factory?
Could you imagine though if they crashed into a giant pillow factory and survived the what they could have used to promote this movie? They could have had some kind of deal with Haynes Furniture or whoever or Tempur-Pedic. Whatever. That's beyond the fact. And it was way too soon to make a joke like that. But comedy is how I deal with my struggles and things that upset me in life. I will say that he was a well-known race car driver. Not that. He was a well-known street racer. This Roger Rodas guy. So, all that taken into consideration. And I do feel bad, and I do mourn for the family. And my best wishes to the family of the man who died.
You remember that time that Ryan Dunn died and everybody said it was a tragedy? When that motherfucker was doing 130 on a snowy road? Yeah, that's a tragedy. You know... That makes me cry at night.
I didn't feel bad about that one because he did bring that upon himself. But...
Oh, and then they were drinking beforehand, too.
Yeah, that especially. I mean, I feel bad that anytime anyone dies, I do feel bad.
What about Hogan's son?
I was going to mention that, but before I get to the Nick Hogan deal, the reason I specifically and especially feel bad for Paul Walker is because he wasn't driving. So I'm sure it would veer one way or the other had he actually been behind the wheel, but the fact that he wasn't in control of his own fate doesn't really sit well with me. When Nick Hogan crashed his car back in like 2007, and he crashed the car, and I think earlier that day or recently, Hulk himself had bought him and the other passenger, John Graziano, beer with, because Nick was probably like 18 at the time, maybe? I don't know. And Nick ended out being just fine. Of course, he was fucking dandy after that accident. And the other guy has become like a vegetable basically because of that accident. He's like gonna be messed up for the rest of his life. They had to do surgery, and he lost like a part of his brain and skull. So I've been in car accidents too, and it's just every time I think about it, it's just terrifying. One time, I mentioned on a previous episode that some elderly people ran a stop sign and T-boned us.
Yeah.
And I had to pull my mom and my grandmother out of our minivan. That was terrifying because I had to get that Kurt Angle and Kane action figure. I just had to. Then, of course, me and you were in our car accident.
Yeah.
2007, when we were hit.
That was the best year of our lives, too.
It was the best year of our lives. It was
the best year of our friendship.
That was true. I was going to say, it was definitely one of the best years of my life. 2013, though, has been pretty okay for me.
It actually has, yeah.
It has been fun. We did a lot of stuff in the summer that was fun. I'm looking forward to the ending of this year and the beginning of next year. But my thoughts and prayers go out to Paul Walker and his...
Same here, even though I'm very cynical about it.
I also have another, maybe self-imposed near-death experience story that happened to me the other day. You know, I used to be a towering fat behemoth of a teenager, and I used to weigh like 260 pounds at like age 15. So, I discovered Hydroxycut back then because I was trying to lose weight, and I didn't really know what I was doing. And GNC was like the coolest shit to me in the world because I was like, I wanted to lose weight. So I would look up reviews on supplements and stuff like that. Back then, I started taking the Hydroxycut that I think had ephedrine. So, of course, the weight just started shredding off because I was fat as shit. And I was actually eating well, and I was running and stuff back then. I lost a lot of weight. I don't remember how much I lost, but I slimmed down a lot. And over the years, my weight has like struggled. It bounces back and forth because I get depression and this seasonal depression. And then there's whatever else stress bothers me. I start to put on some weight because I like to eat. But recently, since working at this warehouse, I try different supplements after I finish one. I cycle on and off, and then I do the whole deal. I'm not shredded or anything like that, but I try to stay around 185, 190 pounds. So I try to take these supplements to keep me up at my average. I've been taking the new Hydroxycut Hardcore Elite, which I've taken before, and it works better than the regular Hardcore, but it's a little bit more expensive unless you just buy it off of eBay, which I do. And for whatever reason, this was during the tour of working at you don't know the story. This was during the tour of taking the 9 days on and 1 day off at work. I woke up about 2 days ago, and my usual schedule in the morning is I pop 2 pills, and then I get energized, I'm ready to go, it gets me through the day, and then around lunch, I take the other 2, and sometimes I don't have to, I'm good to go. It's just full of caffeine. I woke up the other day, and I usually take the 2, and I put the other 2 in my pocket. Well, I was so tired this day that I woke up, and I took 2, and then I took the other 2. And then I thought, I'm going to die. Because the first thing that came into my mind was, where are the other 2 pills that I didn't put in my pocket? Where are these 2 pills? I'm freaking out. I'm frantic. I'm trying to figure out what the fuck did I just do? I just woke up and I took 4 Hydroxycut pills when the serving size is 2. I took 4. I thought it was it for me. I woke up my fiance, I told LMC, I said, take me to the hospital. I didn't say that, but I fucking thought it. I didn't want to scare her too bad, so I ran into the bathroom, and I did tell her I took all 4, and she was like, oh, because it was 5 in the morning, and she doesn't know what to do. She's exhausted. She just woke up. I went to the bathroom, and for the first time ever in my life, I tried to force myself to throw up. I put my 2 fingers down my gullet. I couldn't throw up. I put them back down my throat, and I'm trying the hardest I can to get the freaking pills to come out and vomit, and self-induced blah. I couldn't do it. My dad's downstairs, so I'm trying to, like, gauge how loud I'm going, trying to vomit, but I can't get the pills. So it came to a point where I could not throw up. I couldn't throw up. I look at myself in the mirror, and I was like, all right, you got to get through this today. You just got to do it. I don't care what you got to do, but you got to do it. You're not going to die. You're not going to have a caffeine overdose, so just fucking put on your big girl pants and get through the fucking day. It was an overtime day, so which is good because the shift I was working on, there's less people. So right now, I'm about to cycle off this week, but right now, I'm running on just 2 pills today. 2! And this is how I'm acting. Imagine if I was on 4. So I got to work, and in the morning we read the safety startup meetings about who didn't kill themselves recently, and thank God, because we get a bonus check because they didn't die. And I'm just sitting there. I'm not talking to anyone. I have my hood over my head. I'm bouncing back and forth, just pacing, standing, bouncing forth, back and forth, bouncing. I'm laughing to myself. I'm super jittery. So I found the easiest way to get through that day was just to shut the fuck up and I wouldn't get drug tested. So I'm alive. I hope to never do that again. And that was fucking an experience, let me tell you. I was wired all day long.
Well, I'm glad you made it through, so we could make it to the show. That's pretty similar to that time I drank too much coffee and almost died.
I have another one. I have another
Go ahead. No,
Dude,
go ahead.
I'm not trying to commandeer the show or anything, but goddamn, there's been some stupid things I've done when it comes to caffeine, let me tell you. So, everyone's drinking this Mio energy drink at work all of a sudden. I could never drink it again. Because last year...
Mio Energy?
Mio Energy. When I was working at the office job where I was just sitting at a cubicle, dreading life and thinking about ways to end my life every day for 8 hours a day. Someone told me to try this Mio Energy bullshit. So at lunch, I went to some corner store and I bought a Mio Energy or whatever. I don't read directions, which is why I almost died the other day. But I bought the Mio Energy drink. I took off the cap, whatever. It was like one of those little energy shots, and you're supposed to pour it in your drink, whatever you're drinking.
No, you're supposed to squirt 2.
Yeah.
Squirt 2 drops.
Right. So they say. I did not. I took it, and I poured the whole thing into my water bottle. I shook up the whole thing. I drank it, and again, I wanted to die. I told them I will never drink this again. I don't know who told me to drink this. I went home that day. I think I may have gone home early. I don't even remember. I went home. I shat for hours. I laid in bed. My stomach was turning and tossing. I was ready for death. I thought I was gonna die again. And I was like, yeah, I don't know how you guys can drink this. I went to lunch and I bought it and I poured the whole thing on my water. What? You poured the whole thing? You're only supposed to take a couple shots. So yeah, me and directions do not.
Yeah, no kidding. Which is weird because I'm the opposite. Like, because even when I follow the directions, I feel like I'm dying because I'm like, oh, did I take 2 or did I take 1? I don't remember. Even though I know I took 1 because that's just I'm weird like that. I don't know. I've got the OCD about.
I commend you for never taking any supplements because going all natural is entirely, it's respectable. It's very hard to do, but you've come a long way, and I'm very proud of your success.
I'm getting fatter.
I don't think
as
so.
each day passes.
I don't.
No, I really like my fat percentage and my weight are going up because I've stopped caring and I'm just eating whatever I want.
Devil's advocate. It is winter right now. I know you like to do things in the winter, but it is colder, legit, and we can't run like we were in the summer. So,
yeah, but I'm totally going to run more than I did in the summer.
You think so?
I will.
I bought some of that Under Armour cold gear. Oh, my God. I love that stuff. I was walking around at work with it, and they're like, guys are coming up, they're like, what is that? Are you warm in there? Yeah, it's warm. Can I touch it? 2 guys were rubbing on my arm. And then they realized how fucking weird it was, and they stopped. Me, I've done a lot weirder. With training for wrestling and stuff, so 2 guys rubbing my sleeve, fine with me. But, yeah.
Well, it's not like having balls in your face.
No, it's not. Because let me tell you, I almost passed out once during training because I wasn't wearing my jockstrap. 2 weeks in a row, I've mentioned jockstrap on this episode, or this podcast, rather. But 2 weeks in a row, jockstrap references, go figure.
That's the secret word.
Jockstrap. If you hear jockstrap, go crazy. Or we will. But I was at training once, and we were doing some kind of drill, and we were trying to do this in and out of the ring drill, and my nuts, my bare fucking ballsack, hit the middle rope, and I wanted to vomit. I got so dizzy. Everyone's looking at me. They're like, are you okay? I'm stumbling around the ring. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just crotched myself. I was literally about to faint. I haven't recently felt like that. I didn't know if I was going to vomit, shit myself, or faint. And I almost did all of them. I went in the bathroom and splashed water on my face. And let me tell you, after that, I went and I bought a jockstrap and some compression shorts.
And are you okay?
I'm fine now.
Okay.
I wear that jockstrap anytime I have to wear a costume, and sometimes I wear it if I go on a run because it's fun.
Because it's fun?
It keeps everything where it's supposed to be.
Oh, it's a brisk feeling.
It is.
All right. Where are we now? We're halfway through the show.
I'm excited. We're on iTunes.
Yeah, we're on iTunes. I mean, it's cool and all, but I mean, we still have to make a quality product to put on iTunes.
I think we're getting there.
Are we getting there?
I want to have guests on the show.
Let's go ahead and we can plug that and see if people agree that they think it's a good idea or not.
I want to reach out to guests in Hollywood, in Bollywood, in jail. I don't care. I think it would be fun to have people that not even are like current day huge celebrities, A-list stars anymore, but just people that are famous or
Kel Mitchell.
I love Kel Mitchell. I want to reach out to this gentleman and I want to interview him because there's a movie that I saw recently with him, and it was like I don't even know. It was like a karate movie with dance. I don't remember what it was called, but it was one of the best movies I've seen in a long time. Not because it was great or anything, but it was just so over-the-top goofy. I want to know what Kel Mitchell's up to. I know he has a YouTube, and he doesn't do a lot of appearances and things like that. I want to talk to this man. I want to talk to Emma Stone. I want to talk to people that we would never have the opportunity to talk to, and I think this podcast...
Tezande,
Chocolate Rain! I think this podcast will give us the avenue to reach out and talk to people we never, ever intended to or expected to.
Would you like to talk to Raven one day?
I was thinking about that. We could pay $25 to get 3 minutes to talk to Raven. There was some... I don't know if the site still exists.
It can't be.
I think it still exists. Where you could talk to celebrities. How much was it?
$500?
Get out. To talk to people for like 5 minutes or something. That's insane. That's... just thinking about it.
That's nuts, right?
Brain. So, we need to get rid of this WWE 13. It needs to go.
Yeah, we're still waiting on somebody to, well, we haven't been promoting the show. That's kind of the problem.
That's the thing.
That's not even that is the thing.
I think at this point, it needs to go. I'm never going to play it again. WWE 13, Xbox 360. I'm throwing this out right now. Sloth, you don't even know about this. All you've got to do to win this game, absolutely free. Shipping and handling free. The game. No case. No online pass. None of that. But just the game. Xbox 360. Xbox 360 game. WWE 13. Take it from me. I want to give it away. So, if you email us at our email, which is what? slothandmoney@gmail.com.
Slothandmoney@gmail.com.
All you've got to do is email us.
With an intro.
An intro. Sure. Or
it could just be like 2 notes.
2 notes.
You'd be the only contestant right now.
All you have to do is just email us some kind of intro we can play on the show.
It could be beep boop, and that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
It could be you
That's all.
rapping your favorite theme song. It could be you talking to yourself while taking a shit. I don't care what it is. It could be you. You can, in fact, take my hand clap, put that to a tune, and that would be it. And you can win the game. So WWE 13, Xbox 360, for free. Take it from me, please. I don't want to break it, because I'm not going to trade it in for $2, because that's a complete insult to my wallet. So please, take it from me.
So, since you mentioned the game, we can go ahead and cover what I've been doing recently. Something that you got very angry at me for doing. I recently went to a used game shop in Virginia Beach called Video Game Heaven. Maybe some of you have gone to it. Maybe you've heard of it. Maybe you have not.
You went back there?
To a different one. They have 2. I went to the good one. And I bought Glover for the Nintendo 64.
Did you really?
Yes.
I didn't know you did this.
I bought Glover for the N64. I bought Turok 2 for the Nintendo 64. And the final game I bought there was it was Lego Racers. Earlier that day, I bought WCW Backstage Assault.
Not one ring in that game.
Not a single ring, but
Let's make a wrestling game with no ring.
And it's an awful game. I actually played a match for 10 minutes, and it ended in a tie, and I said, I'm done with this. It was actually Disco Inferno versus Bam Bam Bigelow.
Fuck that. I had such high expectations for that game because it was the sequel to WCW Mayhem, one of my favorite games, and I would just sit in 5th grade and hum the Billy Gunn. I would hum. I don't think anyone's hummed the Billy Gunn tune. Well, I'm an ass man. And he also had the other winner. I don't even know if you know this one. There was the God damn, I can't think of it. But while I'm thinking about it, I would hum the Billy Kidman theme song in my head in 5th grade history class, waiting for the day to end so I could go play my PlayStation 1 WCW Mayhem. Man.
So, anyways, other games I bought that day.
Hold
on, I also bought Rayman 2 in the green cartridge and Wave Race 64.
Now I forgot.
Yeah, I know you did.
I was trying to get it out because I was going to forget it. It was the other Billy Gunn song, and now it's going to plague me. I've got it all, it was called.
Anyway, so I've recently, because as you can tell from the videos that I posted on YouTube, that the era of console gaming has more or less had its last breath. The Xbone, or Xbox One, or the PS4 are turds. They're already having problems. The Xbox is chewing up games. The PS4 is wobbly-dobbly falling over and can't connect to its network.
That's the stupidest name I've ever heard. Xbone. I know you didn't come up with it, but like when you posted that video, and I was like, Xbone. I was like, people are calling it this I'm so out of the loop. Once I got out of retail, I stopped caring about video games and stuff like that. Mainstream. And Xbone? What the fuck?
Because it's Xbox One.
It makes sense, but I think about like Wishbone or something, or sex or something dumb.
Yeah, I gave her the X-Bone last night.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's like when you take two dicks, you cross them, and then you try and stick into some girl's ass. The X-Bone.
Actually, that kind of sounds like a TNA match.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, God, he's climbing the ladder for the X-Bone.
For the first time ever, AJ Styles, Chris Sabin, and Jay Lethal will climb the ultimate X-Bone. 2 weeks later, we're out of business.
What do you mean we're out of business?
What do you mean we're out of business? God
So,
damn. Vince Russo's booking everything. We're going to be in business forever.
Well, I mean, Vince Russo's a good... Anyways, so,
Aces and Eights is dead.
thank God.
We could finally watch TNA.
You didn't know I watched TNA, but I have been, and I saw Mr. Anderson beat Bully Ray.
My face when I read that you were watching TNA. I was like,
Because
Aces
what-
and Eights is dead. And you're like,
Because
yeah,
what
I
happened
know.
was...
You know.
What happened was Mr. Anderson had a kid, and he's getting ready to leave the company, so his contract's up. So he's like, I can either go home and be a dad, or I can beat you, and Aces and Eights is done. So he beat Aces and Eights, and they're done.
Which, thank God, because I haven't watched TNA. I follow everything through, recaps and everything. But I used to be I've watched TNA since day fucking one, when they were at the Asylum back from 2002. I used to order all the Wednesday weekly pay-per-views for $10, and I loved it. It was kind of like a sentimental remaking of WCW with a lot of cruiserweight guys and Jeff Jarrett and Raven and all that stuff. I loved it, and I wanted it to grow, and it did. And then I think around like 2007, it peaked for me, and it started to become really, really bad around like 2008, 2009. And then from there, it's fallen from a cliff through the Earth's core, through that into Atlantis, and it's lost. I don't know if they're saving for this company. I wish there was, because there's so much talent there. I always wanted AJ to jump over, like midway through his career, and he never did. And I'd hate to see for AJ's career to just end in TNA. It's depressing for me to say that out loud. So I don't know what it's like for him to think about he's going to regret it, I'm sure. He's never going to be able to, it's not even financially. If you value your career, and I'm sure he does, and granted, Sting is doing the same thing, just sticking with one company and just going, full bore with them, but I would want to jump ship. I guess the same thing could be said for like a Kobe Bryant, who's never played for any other team other than Lakers. So hey, fuck it. I respect AJ for sticking with TNA, and I wish him the best. But man, TNA in and of itself, I just wish that they could pull their fucking minds and their heads out of their collective asses and just fix the company. Ugh.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
You agree.
I agree.
Remember that time that Randy Savage wanted to fight Hulk Hogan?
And he hid in the closet?
And he hid in the closet. And speaking of Savage in closets, when he used to wrestle at TNA, he would put Miss Elizabeth in the closet.
So, I'll get back to what I was...
Actually, Miss Elizabeth was dead by the time he was in TNA. But no, I did hear rumors that he would put Miss Elizabeth in closets because he was scared that she was going to fuck all the boys.
Really?
Yeah.
That's weird.
It was Savage.
That's a little overbearing, don't you think?
That's him. That was him.
So we can talk about what I was going to talk about before I ran about TNA. I'll go ahead and give you a quick review. The game that I've been playing this week is Turok 2. I'm playing it with no cheats, and it is hard as dicks. I don't know if you guys have tried to play a first-person shooter with the N64 controller recently.
Oh my god.
Compared to what we have nowadays. That's the one good thing. Today's controllers make it a breeze to play first-person shooters. I have to hold the controller, the middle part in my left hand, and I have to reach over to the other side with my right hand to control the D-pad and the left bumper, because the left bumper makes you jump. The Z button makes you shoot.
The Z button! Oh, fucking shudder.
The way that you look is with your left hand with the left and right, and to look up and down is with your right hand on the D-pad.
Fuck that.
It is convoluted, completely ridiculous.
And let's not even talk about the C buttons.
Not even talking about what the C buttons do.
God damn the C buttons.
They apparently change weaponry or something. I
I'm
don't even know.
shaking my head thinking about the design for that controller.
I loved it though.
It was cool looking, but
It was
so
charming.
cattywampus, and then to hold it in your hand was like holding a boomerang. It didn't make sense.
It made perfect sense.
What's
I
your
guess.
favorite controller ever?
This is actually a good question. My favorite controller ever. You go first because there's pressure on me now.
There's pressure on me. I think the original PlayStation controller was perfect, and then they really got it down with the PS2 and PS3. I haven't held the PS4 controller. It looks like there's a little screen in the middle of it.
It's for the touch. That's actually the touch screen, but it's not a touch screen. It's just
touch capacity.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think my favorite, the PS3 controller. I love that controller. I love the goddamn. You'd think the Nintendo 64 controller was fucking terrible.
That's actually my favorite controller, I believe.
Well, I think it was terrible. It's fun, in hindsight because all the memories. But fuck, just thinking about it with those C buttons and the analog and the D buttons and the original Xbox controller was probably the worst controller I've ever. It is in my lifetime that I've ever personally had to use. The original one, because eventually they made this other
Sega
thing.
Saturn. No, not Saturn. The other one, the Sega Dreamcast.
I was gonna get to that.
That's the one. Yeah, the Dreamcast.
But the Xbox itself, the original controller was so big that it was hard to hold physically. Eventually, they made another controller called the Controller S that was smaller, which is similar to the 360 design now. And the Xbox, the X-Bone controller, I believe, is even smaller and thinner than the 360 controller. So I haven't played around with that, but that would actually probably be really nice. It sounds like a really good design, well constructed. But this Dreamcast controller...
Actually, you know what? Keyboard and mouse. Keyboard and mouse is just so simple for me to follow.
I always wanted to get into PC gaming, but I just never had a gaming computer. But now is a good time as any to get one, I guess.
Short, not really.
No, it's because I like adventure games. Like, I don't care so much about, like...
Well, I mean, the indie games, the capacity for indie games and, third party, I guess. Because Microsoft and Steam dominate everything. But if you can get some indie titles, they're really fun. Like that one that I played, forget what it's called. It's more or less like a text adventure, but there's pictures to go along with it.
What's that one game you were playing where you have to walk around these corridors or downstairs, upstairs, and then scary people jump out at you, and you don't have any weapons?
That would be Penumbra.
Penumbra. That game is really fucking scary.
Yeah, it is.
We played that in the garage at night, and that was terrifying. The Sega Dreamcast controller, I think the design of it was different. It was a really ugly-looking thing, actually, in hindsight. Because I think it had this VMU unit, they called it, and it was in the middle. It had, some kind of 16-bit graphics on it, and that was weird to hold, too. So my favorite controllers, I'd say it's probably the PS2, PS3, and then the 360, I'd say.
I kind of like the Genesis controller because it was simple. ABC.
NES, simple.
Yeah, NES, simple. Atari, simple.
I used to hate going to arcades and trying to play a fighting game, and there's all those buttons.
Yeah, the stuff you had to mash.
Yeah, and memorize if you want to do Hadoukens and stuff. I wasn't able to do a Hadouken by memory until I was 18. I didn't know.
You just hit buttons?
Yeah, I would just smash buttons when I was playing Street Fighter Alpha and stuff like that. And then eventually I got to the point.
Beat 'em up, guys.
Where I realized. What's your favorite beat 'em up game ever?
Favorite beat 'em up. We're getting back to the video game, so I guess maybe that's our niche.
It's one of them.
Favorite beat 'em up game of all time would have to be Bloody Roar.
Bloody Roar was a good game. It was a good game.
I loved it. You could turn into an animal, and then you could knock people out the ring.
It was kind of like Animorphs, but the mature version.
Yeah. And then you could give them tiny bodies and giant heads.
Dude, Animorph, those books, what a throwback to our childhood.
Oh, yeah. I saw one the other night. It was Eminem changing into an M&M. And then there was Hank Hill changing into a propane tank.
Where'd you see this?
On the internet.
To a propane tank?
Yeah.
That's funny. Boo!
Have you seen the YouTube video of Pokemon King of the Hill?
No.
Oh, boy. I know what we gotta watch.
I'll watch it. Man, some of my favorite beat 'em up games.
That Butterfree ain't right.
The Virtual Fighter games were awesome. I used to play that
Virtual Fighter was okay. I only played 4, I think.
Oh, man. I used to play that a lot at Chuck E. Cheese. Tekken, of course.
I didn't.
Oh, get out.
I only liked the second one. The one that had the kangaroo.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Eddie
Gordo. Kofi Kingston, I mean. Tekken was a great series. The new X-Bone, I guess.
Soul Calibur was actually really good.
You used to play that a lot. I never played that really.
It was pretty okay. It had Link in one of them.
It had Spawn, I think.
Yeah, Spawn was in the Xbox one. Link was in the GameCube one, and I can't remember who was in the PlayStation one.
Someone at work the other day was talking about like black superheroes, and I was like over listening, and I couldn't really think of many. I guess there's like Spawn. There's like everyone's gonna be talking about Electro now because of the new Spider-Man. But there was like some guy named like Static Shock or something.
Dude, I love Static Shock.
He's awesome, I know. But other than that,
I'll put a shock to your system.
there's like
And his name was Virgil.
what? Who's Samuel L. Jackson play in The Shield or whatever? There's that guy. I don't even know.
Hold on. I don't. God.
See what I mean?
I know his name, but I mean, I don't watch comic books.
But-
I don't watch comic books. I don't watch comic book movies.
I can't. Think
Nate
of
would
it.
know, and he'd be so mad at me right now.
I think it's Nick Fury.
It is Nick Fury.
Yeah.
He's gotten progressively darker over the years. I don't know if you've noticed that.
I've not noticed that.
He used to be a super white guy, and then out of nowhere he had tan skin, and now he's a black guy.
Are we talking about Samuel L. Jackson or Nick Fury?
Both.
Well, in that case, say both again. But I don't really know of any other ones really. I mean, there's hits.
You got Black Falcon, Black Panther.
There was what's his fucking face? Hancock.
Who?
Which- Will Smith's movie Hancock, which I loved that movie. It's not like a great movie, but I loved it. But he was like he was basically a black Superman, but he was homeless, and that made it great. It was kind of like a great movie because he was homeless. But
Oh yeah, didn't it have like the deleted scene where he like came through the roof?
probably. It also had what's her face in it? The hot chick. Can't think of her.
Oh well, I mean, could you be any more vague, please?
There was a lot of hot chicks. It'll come to me.
Emma Watson.
Emma Stone, that's mine. Me and Emma Stone have the same birthday, and I'm going to try and reach out to her to get her on the show or at my house or something along those lines. But I can't think of any other more black superheroes, to tell you that. But some of my other favorite beat-em-up games, side-scrolling beat-em-up games. Now I'm excited. I'll tell you.
What was the one where you could turn into a werewolf? It was for the Sega Genesis, I believe.
You know, people were talking about that the other day. I don't remember the name of that game.
There was also Primal Rage.
It might have been Primal Rage. That's what I was going to say, but I couldn't think of the name.
Let's see, what else was there? Battletoads.
Battletoads! And did you ever play the Battletoads and
Shut
Double
up.
Dragon? Did you ever play that?
Shut up.
I can't believe you and my fiance have never played Paperboy.
Yes, I have.
You play Paperboy?
What are you talking about?
She's never played Paperboy.
Of course I played. I was about to buy Paperboy. I can't even do it. I was about to buy Paperboy the other day for the 64, but then I
What a
didn't.
shit game. I watched that review.
I love
with her.
Paperboy.
The old one's good.
Yeah.
Not Paperboy 64.
Well, it's great because you can get stuck in a tornado.
And then you would throw the newspapers through people's houses and you lose subscriptions like we're going to on YouTube. But it was great because why would they remake that game on the 64?
We should do a parody of the game,
We could.
Paperboy in real life.
I support this idea.
We should actually work on that soon. I like that.
There's so
idea.
many ideas we've got coming up, and we've got a parody. I don't want to give it away, but this week we're filming a parody music video. The lyrics are already done. We're gonna.
Did you get the lyrics
shot.
done?
The lyrics have been
Oh,
done.
good job.
Thank you. The lyrics
Right-o.
have been done. I'm gonna be planning other ones as well, so hopefully we'll get some more parody videos out of the way. But Streets of Rage is my all-time favorite side-scrolling beat-em-up game. Honorable mention though, because I've been in a festive Power Ranger throwback kind of mood recently. Have you ever played the Power Rangers the movie video game?
Yes.
Dude, that fucking game is awesome. You're fighting the Putty Patrol, and it's fucking great. I think I'm gonna play that game, if not tonight, very soon. But I recently watched the first ever episode of Power Rangers, and it was the most unbelievable horseshit, bad premise, stupid follow through, can't fathom show I've ever seen in my life.
If it makes you feel better, I also watched the first episode of Big Bad Beetleborgs about 2 months ago.
That's
and
still
I
on
was,
my queue.
And I was asking myself, wow, we watched this as children and we were entertained and thought it was good?
The Power Rangers. Have you ever watched the first ever?
It kind of goes along with the fact that you should never meet your heroes. Because once you go back and look at stuff from your childhood, you're like, wow, this sullies everything I thought about the show.
Don't get me wrong. I still love the show. And on SmackDown, Xavier Woods,
I know.
He used to be Consequences Creed in TNA, and he used to team up with Jay Lethal. But now he's known as Xavier Woods. He's been in NXT, and now he's teaming up with R-Truth. He was on SmackDown, and what was he wearing?
He was wearing the Black Ranger.
It's the Sabretooth shirt, and it was great. And recently, he's been doing his signature move, and before he does it, do you know
It's
what
Morphin' Time.
Yes, he screams it.
I know. You act like I don't go on wrestling boards just because I don't talk wrestling with you.
I haven't watched wrestling, really. I mean, I want to, but it's just 3 hours of Raw is a lot of time I don't want to.
He also wears Dragon Ball Z pants.
Does he really?
Yeah, I believe so.
I don't like working 12 hours and then coming home and watching a 3-hour Raw. It's time consuming.
Yeah, it's time consuming and mentally draining.
I'm done by the end of the day. But, by the way, to go back to 2 minutes ago when I couldn't remember her name, the other woman in Hancock with Will Smith, Charlize Theron.
Oh, good.
Super fucking hot. But, the Power Rangers game, there was a Power Rangers game on Genesis that was kind of shit. I'm talking about the movie game. Completely different.
The Power Rangers fighting game was good.
You liked that?
I liked it because I could beat Goldar. Goldar is my favorite character from Power Rangers.
There were some shit characters in that fucking game and show. Dude, the first episode...
Oh, God, who was the guy with the melting face?
Could be anybody.
Go on.
I was just going to say the first episode, what happened is basically, who's that fucking talking head? Zeldar?
Really?
Moldar? What's his face?
Really?
Zeldar? What is it? Link? Zelda? What is it?
The giant talking head.
Yeah, what's his name?
Zordon.
Yeah, Zordon, that faggot. Zordon, and...
Rangers.
Yeah. Yeah, Zordon and fucking... Who's Alpha D2 360? What's his name?
Alpha.
There, see, I was right then.
Sierra Hotel India Echo Lima Delta Alpha.
Dude. So yeah, Alpha and Zordon, they basically kidnap 5 kids through space and time to their shack, and they tell them that they're going to become Power Rangers and they're going to fight Rita Repulsa and her army of the putty people.
What an awesome name for a heel.
What?
Rita Repulsa.
She is. She's probably actually really hot without all that stuff on.
No, because I like the stuff on the face.
I like them grungy and dirty. Like they've been like dragged through the mud, and now we just spiced them up a little bit and spruced them up and gave them some big old jugs. I'm getting excited. But anyways, actually,
see you salivating.
Some of my favorite examples of people that I like that are grungy and dirty looking.
Roxy Laveau,
all-time classic grungy, dirty looking girl. As the character, as Nikki Rock, she's beautiful, but it's not the same. Also, Daphne from TNA and WCW, my fucking god, with all the makeup and the face paint and just the green and the black hair, and a job well done, ma'am. A job well done. But they kidnap 5 kids through time and space, and they tell them they're gonna fight the putty people. No one wants to do it, except everyone wants to do it. What the fuck? Why?
Yeah, I mean, normal high school age children would be like, no, we're not doing that.
Normal people would be like, how'd you kidnap us?
Or they would be like, where's my iPhone?
Yeah, no. Things are so different now. That is amazing.
Well, it was also the 90s. We were much more naive.
I'm still naive, but goddamn, that show. I think we should just cover whatever we want to talk about, like we always do. But yeah, gaming, it seems to be one of our go-tos, obviously, in wrestling, of course. It looks like we spent a lot of time talking about throwback things to our childhood too. So.
Well, I mean, yeah, it's all about the nostalgia. But there's a difference. I was watching The Angry Video Game Nerd, which is one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube.
Angry Video Game Nerd.
There's a difference between throwback and outdated. Throwback is something you can look back on and enjoy, and it stands the test of time. Outdated is like the Tiger Electronic handheld video games.
That was a great one. That was
I loved that episode.
That was good.
It's like Poverty Game Boy.
Yes.
Well, look, I guess that gives us a shout out to him. Thank you for entertaining us for several years.
I'll be honest with you. At first, I didn't like him. Like
really?
Years ago, like
when he was the angry Nintendo nerd.
Whenever I think that's what he started as. I just didn't like him.
Yeah, and then he almost got sued.
Oh, really? That makes sense.
Because he had a pink mohawk
in a wheelchair. But I was not a fan. I don't know if I was jealous or if I was just like, maybe I wanted to have done that and wanted the fame and whatever. But I don't remember. I just know I didn't like it.
Holy shit, bags of fuck, it's bad.
Yeah. But now I watch it, and me and my girl watch it. We love it. There was one episode he did, I think on a different account called, or maybe it's the same account, I don't know. But basically, it's called Dream Phone or whatever. I think it's called Dream Phone. If you just YouTube for...
You know, I'm actually... I've been looking for one of those for you for Christmas.
Because I've been obsessed.
The board game.
Because like I told you, I get obsessed with something and I need to have it. So there was one episode where they do short films also, and they did an episode about a dream phone, and it's got cameos from Mr. Bucket. It's freaking great.
I didn't know this.
They also, because I guess this was
Mr. Bucket. Put your balls in my mouth, Mr. Bucket.
They had done another one with just solely Mr. Bucket. So that was like a homage to the video they did of Mr. Bucket. And speaking of Mr. Bucket, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special guest.
Shut up! I know where it's going.
You don't know where it's going.
I know exactly where it's going.
Dude, classic cartoon or commercial theme songs.
Oh yeah, no, old commercials. We
My
could talk.
God.
I think we should do the next episode. We've got 5 minutes left now, so I think we should do the next episode about old commercials.
Old commercials and old toys and games too, because I can't just talk.
I can just tell you right now off the top of my head, skip it.
You didn't watch Raw last night?
No.
All right, you were at Michael's Arts and Crafts. I'm gonna ask you why you were there.
Because they were making Christmas ornaments.
But that last night on Raw, AJ Lee always skips around, so that's notable because she does that. It's a part of her deal. But
Her gimmick, just say it.
I was gonna say it, but Ric Flair will come after me. He doesn't like when people say heels and faces and gimmicks and stuff. But anyways, Biggie Langston was doing commentary, and for some reason he was talking about him and Dolph are so competitive. They like to compete against each other in any way. They used to play Skip It against each other. JBL, Michael Cole, and Jerry Lawler are like, what the fuck? Skip It? I popped so hard. I was talking about, with Fee, Skip It? They're talking about Skip It?
Really? Did this happen last night?
Last night on Raw.
Wow, that's
they mentioned Skip
odd.
It. So then, later on, they were clowning on him like all night about the Skip It after he got off too. But then AJ Lee had a match. So they were talking about Skip It because around the ring she was doing Skip It. So they were wondering about, does AJ Lee play Skip It with Dolph Ziggler and Biggie Langston? It was great. So then at the end, AJ Lee wanted to get the hot tag because Natalya was in peril and she wanted to come in and reap the benefits. Well, she got the hot tag, she came in and she got beaten. So then Lawler was like, I bet AJ Lee wishes she could have skipped that hot tag. Right? That's one. So then later on, she had a match signed where it's going to be Natalya versus AJ Lee at TLC.
Ugh.
Which should be an okay match, you know. But then Jerry Lawler said, that's right, AJ, and you gotta be there, you can't skip it.
It sounds like they're beating a dead horse.
Off. You can never beat a dead horse off. I guess you could. That's disgusting. But,
Let's see. Skip It. Yo-Yo Ball.
Yo-Yo Ma. Yo-Yo Ball, what is that?
You never played Yo-Yo Ball?
No.
Jeez. Battleship. He was like my battle.
I never played that.
Let's see.
I've never played Monopoly. I've played Monopoly, but never.
Because you don't like board games.
I hate board games.
I hate your face.
We're gonna have a lot of tension on the next episode. I'm shaking right now.
I can see you're jittering.
I'm getting angry.
Well, we've only got 2.5 minutes left.
And I'll subside my anger. I'll save it.
Let's see. I'm trying to think. What?
Pogs.
Yeah, I just recently bought some Pogs at a thrift store.
Yeah,
the Pog board game.
We're getting out of control. Let's save all the good stuff for the next episode.
Okay, well.
Nostalgia Mania running wild, brother.
Listen here, brother, dude. Nostalgia Mania is going to run wild over you. This is the 1990s all over again, brother, dude. You. Yeah, I'm going to get in that boat. What? Was it Thunder in Paradise?
Yeah. Trouble in Paradise.
Yeah, it's Thunder.
Dude, but no, that's my Savage calling Kofi Kingston match.
Well, he's dead.
Yeah. Kofi's career might be if he doesn't fucking. I love Kofi, I really do, but Kofi's career was.
It's got to hurt to be alive for him.
Dude, it was taking off a couple years ago when he had that big feud. Well, for him at the time
with Wade Barrett.
No, fuck that. With Randy Orton, and then it ended. I guess he did this. He did the boom drop to Randy through a table at MSG, and people lost their fucking shit. Everyone ape shit banana. And I guess Orton didn't like working with him, so he was pushed down the card and just held down. So he's like your perennial IC US champion and everything like that, but he's so much better than that.
So I just got your text about you being here.
I'm right here, and I'm never going away.
No, I mean at my house.
Oh. Fuck. Who do you have? Boost?
Yes.
I have Boost, and you have Boost, and I have Sprint, but they were on the same network. So you would think that as soon as I finish typing that last letter and hit send, it should be right there. But what it likes to do is take fucking super duper
2
long
hours
to get to you. It's literally been 2 hours, probably, since I texted you that.
About an hour and a half, yes.
So next time I get into a situation where someone breaks into my house at 2
text
in the morning,
police.
Yeah, and I text the police, or more importantly, I text you to call the police, because that makes sense. I'll be honest with you. I took 4 hydroxycut pills the other day, almost died. Who knows what I'll do if I'm being attacked at 2 in the morning? I might text you to call the police, and then they find my body. Then we'll know why. We can thank Sprint, and we can thank Boost.
All right, well, I guess with the closing 20 seconds, we'll go ahead and give our thanks out. Thank you, iTunes, for accepting our application. Thank you, Jersey's Comics and Games, for the videos that we'll be putting up there soon.
And if you want to win WWE 13 for Xbox, just send us
anything. Boop, beep, beep,
send
boop.
us anything to slothandmoney@gmail.com. Send us your name and address, and the first person that does that, I'll fucking mail it to you.
All right, well, that more or less concludes our show for today. Thank you for listening into another episode of the Sloth and Money radio show, live and uncut. This is Sloth signing out, and that is...
I'm Money.
Signing out. Thank you.